Ilinala Ipalawan, Sinya Bula, Minaletnya, Agan Bravo, Itata Taunia.
Yet cervical cancer continues to pose a constant risk to women today due to low awareness.
Cervical cancer pasiye masek lanmatan sa kontilokinyaki. Fingom somono, pap smear, and HPV vaccination isa na kashing tilokinya.
Dapat ko radil amla mugar. Ego mangalak lang radil. Nagtamarera dan mura usong ala, yang raw gurula. Ramak mitalak ta, rektel aralir.
Ang mga babaeng may edad 21 pataas ay kailangan magpapaptest kada 3 taon.
Sa dating na sontatwa, lari sa kwano, anana alatogin sila ni HPV.
Ewa fesin, todo Guam Foundation, ato geriawak na test, may oposud, ewa semuet HPV. Eri firifit, iya patufit singeriane pagi, ekari ni sakawar, dari tentu burut, nanabut, may patsukurel fefil medicine, kirisam.
Tampakatilin cervical cancer arangan preventna från avefkachusarum movinial mahabugun kotafulaika cervical cancer.
Ara komin matan fokokos.
Be a well woman.
Mga pakla ba dingiyo?
Tufna kada pinipin ang tayo da health rodai.
Piata li Caroline.
Dangin Megat Itata Tanya.
Maging malusog po tayong mga kababaihan.
Kitsvefi si puede petiveteresito resawal yerisits puede papatsakut.
Take the first step to becoming a well woman and call Todu Guam Clinic today at 671-649-TODU to schedule an appointment.
Buenas noches and good evening, Tatsu Marianas. My name is Troy Torres. Here with Kandit News Group, you're joining myself and our producer, Isaac Nirbabul, live here in our studios on the 7th floor of the DNA building in Hagåtña, Guam. Are we good? Everything's okay? All right. Thank you. So we haven't done this studio thing in quite some time. I got back to Guam this morning right on time for the storm. Woohoo!
Been a while.
It's been a while. The last time Guam was hit with a major tropical cyclone was Super Typhoon Fangsona back in 2002. For lack of a better way of expressing it, we here on Guam are out of practice with our response to storms. But thankfully, our civil defense officials, National Weather Service, they've got a plan. It seems that they're communicating things well to the public. For the people, for those of you in the CNMI, you have, for lack of a better term again, have had recent practice, recent experience dealing with major natural calamities. When you, I think the last one was 2018, Super Typhoon U2, and right before that in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, Super Typhoon Sodalor. And so these things are fresh in everyone's minds. And with the National Weather Service over the past few days telling us that all 4 major islands of the Mariana Islands are within the trajectory of what is now Tropical Storm Mawar, and that any slight wiggle to the north or the south places all 4 islands within the storm's trajectory. Well, now we have some firming up of things as things get closer. We're going to talk with Landon Idlet from the National Weather Service, head meteorologist over at NWS Guam, about where the storm is likely to head, how strong it is now, how strong it will be, and when we might expect some landfall, if we expect landfall, in any of the 4 islands, in what is now believed to be a Wednesday passage through the Mariana Islands. We are also going to talk to Guam Governor Lulian Guerrero's Director of Communications, Crystal Paco San Agustin, about the preparedness plans and about the a number. Everything's coming fast and furious now that we're getting closer. The government of Guam was very busy today. The government of the CNMI was very busy today, planning, getting ready, and getting information out. We'll get this information out to you tonight. But first, we have an address, a special address from Guam Governor Lulian Guerrero to bring to you right now.
Been tracking this system closely over the. At this time, Mawar continues to organize and steadily intensify with a track toward the Marianas. We expect Mawar to possibly become a typhoon overnight. Tropical storm or even typhoon damaging winds and heavy rains are expected as early as Tuesday morning. In an abundance of caution, I am placing Guam in condition of readiness 2 effective tonight, May 21st at 8 p.m. This means that Government of Guam operations, with the exception of services identified as essential, will not be operational and will remain closed until further announcement after the storm passes. During this time, I urge each of you to prepare your families and secure your homes. As a government, we too are preparing. I have mobilized our critical infrastructure agencies to make their preparations to minimize damage and increase our resilience. That includes efforts to minimize flooding and power outages. And our schools are preparing to serve as shelters for anyone who may need it. We will be issuing more information as it becomes available. With that, I ask that each of you turn to official verified outlets like the Joint Information Center to ensure you are receiving the most current and accurate information about the storm and important government services. You can reach them at 671-478-0208 or 0210. Or you can visit the official sites for the National Weather Service and Guam Homeland Security Office of Civil Defense. The steps we take now to prepare will help keep our families and our islands safe through the storm. I ask that we remain calm and vigilant as our government has mobilized all necessary resources and actions for preparation here at home and with our federal partners abroad for immediate response and recovery. This latest action, transitioning into condition of readiness 2, is time to ready yourselves and your families. Once condition of readiness 1 is declared, we ask that you stay home. On behalf of our island, thank you for doing your part to protect yourselves, our families, and our community. And please be safe.
So that was Guam Governor Lulian Guerrero. I have to say, I've as someone who was in the governor's office for a number of years, I was the director of communications for Governor Calvo, and in that role, during an activation of an emergency, I took on the role of joint information coordinator. So it was the person who coordinated all of the agencies in getting the information out to the public. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm also one of the bigger critics of Governor Lulian Guerrero and her administration. But in a time like this, when she is our governor, she's the only governor we have here on Guam. Governor Arnold Palacios is the only governor you have in the CNMI. No matter what your political differences are with the governors of our islands, it is so critical that at a time like this, we set these differences aside. And all we can do is trust that what they're doing is the right job and support them in doing that right job so that we as a community, as the communities of Guam and the CNMI, can come out of this, can go into this prepared and to come out of this alive with life and limb and as little property damage as possible. It is just so critical that at this time we put our differences aside. Now, as we spoke, or as the governor was speaking, information came in from the office of Governor Arnold Palacios. I have it on my phone, so I didn't have enough time to print it. It literally just came in. The Governor Palacios is maintaining Typhoon Condition 3 for Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda. It means that damaging winds are possible within 48 hours. Tropical storm Mawar is intensifying, etc., etc. There will be a shelter activation upon Typhoon Condition 2 declaration. Shelters will be activated when Typhoon Condition 2 is declared in the CNMI, which is anticipated in the next 24 hours. Again, this is in the CNMI. However, at the time of this release, the CNMI has maintained Typhoon Condition 3. If and when Typhoon Condition 2 is declared, the following shelters will be activated: Marianas High School, the cafeteria; Coblerville Elementary School, the cafeteria; Cagman High School, the cafeteria; Tinian Elementary School, the cafeteria; and on Rhoda, the Office on Aging. The Commonwealth Office of Transit Authority is running on its regular service until Typhoon Condition 2 is declared. If and when Typhoon Condition 2 is declared, COTA will be activated to provide transportation to the shelters. Residents can call the EOC State Warning Point at 670-237-8000. PSS, NMC, NMTech, and private schools, the continuation or cancellation of classes for educational institutions this week will be announced by their respective institution. We put out just prior to going live that Dr. Alfred Adder, the Commissioner of the Public School System, has canceled all classes tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, and until further notice. That will include Head Start, Early Head Start, and all early intervention programs. Also, information that came in just a few minutes ago. The governor's office in the CNMI wants you to have updated contact information for transport services to typhoon shelters for Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda. When the shelters are open and activated, residents who need transport services can contact these telephone numbers for transportation assistance. All right, so I'll go through this slowly so people can take down the phone numbers, okay? If anyone wants to put these into the comments so that other people can see it, please do. For Saipan, call the Emergency Operations Center State Warning Point. That's area code 670-237-8000. Again, 670-237-8000. For Tinian, call the Commonwealth Office of Transit Authority. COTA Tinian 670-433-011. Again, that's 433-011. Or call the public school system at Tinian at 670-783-8962. Again, 783-8962. Or the Tinian Municipality Operations Center at 670-483-1800. Again, 483-1800. For Rhoda, it's just the mayor's office, 670-532-9451 or 2. Again, 670-532-9451 or 2. Thank you so much, Richard Baleares, Director of Communications for Governor Palacios, for providing that information. When we come back from this very short break, we're going to have Chief Meteorologist with the National Weather Service, Landon Idlet, on the phone to talk to us about the storm.
dull knives are the absolute worst. But I will take any dull knife and put a razor-sharp edge on it so you won't have to hack or try to saw your ingredients when prepping your food. I sharpen knives, cleavers, machetes, and much more. Shoot me a text, WhatsApp, or give me a call for more information on how you can get your knives shinard.
Welcome back to our Sunday night, May 21, 2023 update on the latest with Mawar, which is now a tropical storm. Might become a typhoon tonight, might come through our area here between Guam and Rota. At least that's what the latest that came out of the Joint Information Center, which gets its information primarily from the National Weather Service, Guam. And joining us on the phone is Chief Meteorologist Landon Idlet. Good evening, Landon, and thank you so much for your time and for joining our audience tonight to give them an update.
Yes, absolutely. Good evening, Troy, and everyone viewing Kandit this evening.
Thank you so much, Landon. Let's just get right into it. I think people have a bunch of questions. I suppose the first is, where is this storm going?
Yeah, it's definitely making a track toward the Mariana Islands. And keep in mind the big operative word at this point is possibility, and we can't underscore that enough, that everything, all of our forecasts right now for the last couple of days have been hinting at the possibility of a tropical cyclone of typhoon intensity pushing through the Mariana Islands, possibly striking any one of the four southern islands. That's Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. So these are all still possibilities. There's still that uncertainty because a difference of 10 miles north or south or east or west can really impact whether a single location experiences the worst of a passing cyclone. And so this thing is still a tropical storm. As of 8 o'clock at our last advisory, number 6, those winds have increased 70 miles per hour sustained. That intensification trend is continuing. So we do expect it to become a typhoon overnight tonight. That is likely. As we come further into time and this thing nears the Mariana Islands, there will be increasing certainty as to which island it's going to be passing closest to, if a certain island will take a direct hit, and who will see the more favorable conditions. Because if we have a Rota channel passage, that storm could pass through Rota and pass between Guam and Rota as a Category 1, a Category 2 typhoon, maybe even worse, depending on the intensification. That's why we have to take it seriously. If it passes close to Guam, Saipan and Tinian will not see the worst of it. But if this thing tracks farther northward and passes closer to Tinian and Saipan, Guam will see lesser conditions.
So what I'm understanding is, even if none of the islands get the eye, let's say the eye passes through the Rota Channel, let's say the eye passes between Rota and Tinian or between Tinian and Saipan, there's still that giant storm around it that we're going to feel.
That's correct. And so a lot of times people focus on the exact track, that center line in our forecast plots. That's just the center of the circulation, whereas the strong winds, the tropical storm force winds and the typhoon force winds, they extend for a distance away from that center point. And so right now at 8 o'clock, those tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 85 miles away from the center of the storm. So if this thing were to strike Rota, that sits roughly 40 miles to our north. So that would still put all of Guam within tropical storm force conditions.
All of Guam and all of Rota.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That's correct. Keep that in mind. And based on our current track, all of the islands remain in that cone of uncertainty that we could, any one of us could take a direct hit come Wednesday morning.
So even though the past couple of advisories have shown a shift south, it really doesn't mean that it couldn't shift north. Would that be correct?
That's exactly correct.
Okay,
and so the last three forecasts that went out at 8 o'clock today, 2 o'clock this afternoon, and 8 o'clock this morning, they've been holding remarkably consistent for a rota channel passage. The timing did shift a little bit. It slowed down overnight last night, but things have picked up just a little bit. So instead of a midday, afternoon, Wednesday passage through the rota channel, we're now looking for a late morning passage through the rota channel. So these are just those typical wiggles and fluctuations in the forecast track and timing. This is typical for forecasting tropical cyclones, and we're going to see these shifts continue every 6 hours with the next best available latest forecast coming from the National Weather Service and the Joint Typhoon Warning Center.
I'm a little out of practice. Can you remind me, is a Category 1 typhoon called at 74 mile per hour maximum sustained winds?
That is correct. So tropical storm force winds, those are sustained winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour.
Okay.
And then typhoon force winds begin at 74 miles per hour and going up from there.
And you said that we, as of the last advisory, we are already at 70 miles maximum sustained winds for Mawar?
That's correct. And so we were seeing that indication of intensification in the late day visible satellite imagery. There was a burst of lightning just in the Chuuk Islands later in the afternoon hours. That's sometimes indicative of deepening of convection and a strengthening core. And so we are seeing that trend. The next advisory will be coming out at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. It will be interesting to see what the intensity will be at that point, and then likewise at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Okay, so there will not be an 11 p.m. update then?
Well, there will be an intermediate update.
Okay.
We do these intermediate public advisories on the 11 o'clock a.m. and p.m. and also 5 o'clock a.m. and p.m.
Okay.
And that's just to provide some supplemental information between the 6 hourly bulletins. But the full forecast update, that's on the 2s and the 8s.
Okay. I think a bunch of people have been asking whether there's some sort of like moderate or strong possibility of the storm's dissipation or extreme weakening by the time it gets to the Marianas.
Well, definitely there's always that possibility of things changing. And that's why forecasting tropical cyclones anywhere near a populated island can be one of the most stressful tasks anyone can do because so much hinges on the best available forecast. And my biggest fear as a forecaster is to have something go wrong. A lot of people are shell-shocked from Typhoon Sudalar in 2015. That was a special case when all the global meteorological agencies were looking at a low-end Category 1 typhoon, but the reality was a much stronger typhoon at that time. And so there's been a lot of study, a lot of analysis, and I think people in the global world of meteorology have a much better feel for such strength and power with certain tropical cyclones. So we do keep that in mind. We have so much better observational capabilities for analyzing tropical cyclones, whether they're in the Pacific or the Atlantic, where they have aircraft that fly through them. But the chances of this dissipating and becoming not a threat, we do not see that as a likelihood at this time. It's actually becoming into a better atmosphere for development. And so we're going to be watching that again for the next 24 to 36 hours as the atmospheric vertical wind shear is a little bit decreased over the coming days. And so for a typhoon to develop, you ideally want less vertical wind shear. And so if you have high vertical wind shear, that keeps things from developing vertically, like deep convection. You want that stacked column where you have a beautiful core of a tropical cyclone that you can look all the way down to that nicely defined eye and eye wall. Right now we don't have that, but we could probably pop an eye with the system sometime tomorrow. And that would be an indication of a very mature tropical cyclone of typhoon intensity.
And again, to repeat, probably the most important part of this discussion has been your warning that though this has shifted south as of late, any sort of shift within 10 miles north or south is significant for every single one of the main islands of the Marianas. This thing can come to any of us, correct?
That's correct. And again, that's the operative word, possibility. This is all possible. And so our typhoon watch really explains that well in the definition, which means those conditions are possible within 48 hours. And that gives credence to the uncertainty of the situation. We have a lot of time before the thing tracks through the region. And so that's why things are possible versus expected. Our language will start making that change probably on Monday. We'll be using that word possible a little bit less. We might be shifting to more expectations through the day on Monday as things come to better alignment and this thing draws nearer to the Mariana Islands.
And then the other term that sort of is a key for the islands of the Marianas, and this is where in the CNMI it gets a little tricky, where one of the islands might be using a term that's different from the other two islands, and that's the change from typhoon watch to typhoon warning. Do you think you could explain that a little bit for our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the Weather Service, when we're dealing with tropical cyclones, we deal with tropical storm watches and warnings and typhoon watches and warnings. And so sometimes in the past we've issued tropical storm watches, which means those conditions are possible in 48 hours. And then a tropical storm warning means that those conditions are expected in 24 hours.
Okay.
And so the watches and warnings, they are possible in 48 hours and expected in 24 hours.
That's the
difference between tropical storm and typhoon, that's based on what type of system we're expecting. And so there were some questions yesterday when we issued the typhoon watch for the islands instead of a tropical storm watch. Well, we went ahead and upgraded to a typhoon watch because we do expect this tropical cyclone to be of typhoon intensity when it nears the islands.
Within 48 hours.
That's correct. We went ahead and raised the typhoon watch as opposed to tropical storm watch if we were expecting just a tropical storm system.
Got it.
A lot of jargon there.
No, I understood it. It's important for people to understand these differences, especially when in the CNMI, sometimes it happens that Guam and Rota are in a typhoon warning while the CNMI is in a typhoon watch. While Tinian and Saipan are in a typhoon watch, right?
That's correct. And so we often have that. We could have a scenario where we put Guam into a typhoon warning and Rota into a tropical storm warning, only because we expect them to have tropical storm force conditions. So it can be a little bit complicated if you're not a meteorologist with the Weather Service, but that's how the technical terms are used for public safety. Then it's the communications aspect to make sure that what we are doing, that we are also communicating it to the public so everyone understands. And I think
you guys are doing a good job.
Weather Service, the Weather Service agency-wide probably has not done that so well over the past generations. But agency-wide, we are really focusing very much onto our communications. How are we relaying this to the public, to the people we serve? And so, this has been a big change for us in the office, communicating. And fortunately for me, that's my passion for many years.
Well, you're good at it, so don't you worry. I think we're just spoiled here. Before I let you go, just one more thing. There's a grassroots discussion, especially here on Guam, people who remember Super Typhoon Pamela, and I'm wondering if it's a discussion within National Weather Service Guam office about parallels between the 76 storm and this one developing.
Yeah, definitely. And we have a lot of new staff that have joined our ranks in the last 3 years. We had a lot of the older folks retire or move back to the States, and we have a lot of newer guys that have never dealt with a tropical cyclone before. So this is a first for a lot of our staff, for better or for worse, but we're all energetic and excited. But Pamela, that's a key storm because it has a lot of parallels. And I actually spoke to Chip Guard the other day. He and I would chat often to just talk about operations, about the Weather Service, and weather in general. We collaborate a lot. But he said, yeah, this storm has a lot of parallels to Typhoon Pamela, which got its origins in the Federated States of Micronesia and even did a loop, like this storm did a few days ago. It did a loop just southwest of Chuuk Lagoon. Pamela also did a loop, and then it made its direction toward Guam and rapidly intensified into a Category 4, devastating typhoon to Guam.
Thank you so much for your time, Landon. I really appreciate it. In a little bit, we're going to have Crystal Paco San Augustine from the governor's office on Guam, and tomorrow morning we hope to have Franklin Babauta, the Homeland Security Emergency Management Special Assistant over in the CNMI, also call into our show to provide updates there. I really appreciate your time, and on behalf of all of us here at Kandit, thank you to you and your team for all of this effort and all the stress you guys are going through.
Likewise, thank you so much, Troy, for the airtime, because you and the media, y'all are our voice to help us communicate to the island to get this message out for public safety and preparedness.
Thank you. God bless you, and be safe.
Thank you, Troy.
Right. All right, thank you. That was Landon Idlet, Chief Meteorologist for the National Weather Service, Guam. You heard him say the name Chip Guard. Chip Guard was he was the man. And Landon Idlet is filling his shoes in pretty well. I see Chip Guard over at the gym. He is stress-free and loving life. He's like, I'm not doing the weather anymore.
And I used to ask him whether, of course, on a plane flying back and forth.
Is your microphone on?
Yeah.
Oh, your microphone's on? You used to ask him what? You used to ask him about the plane?
Yeah, on the plane, because he flies between here and the CNMI.
Oh, yeah. Chip Guard, whenever anyone heard the name Chip Guard, they were like, all right, let's listen to that man's smooth voice. And what he's got is all the bad news he has about the weather. He's going to make us feel good like he's our grandpa of the weather, you know? And here we have Landon Idlet following in his footsteps, a trusted and reliable voice, and we very much appreciate his time. When we come back, we're going to have Crystal Paco San Augustine, Director of Communications for the Office of the Governor, to provide all of the updates on what's going on with banks, schools, the government of Guam, the legislature, the courts, all that good stuff. Stick with us.
Dull knives are the absolute worst, but I will take any dull knife and put a razor-sharp edge on it so you won't have to hack or try to saw your ingredients when prepping your food. I sharpen knives, cleavers, machetes, and much more. Shoot me a text, WhatsApp, or give me a call for more information on how you can get your knives Shinar.
Welcome back to our coverage tonight. It is, what is it? Almost 10:30 p.m. Sunday, May 21, 2023. The latest updates on Tropical Storm Mawar, which might have already reached typhoon strength by now. As of the latest update, according to Landon Idlet, National Weather Service Chief Meteorologist, the storm at around 8 p.m. had maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour. There's going to be an intermediate update at 11 p.m., and then there's going to be a full update at 2 a.m. Monday morning, and we'll know whether it has reached typhoon strength. A typhoon is classified as a storm or a cyclone that has reached maximum sustained winds of at least 74 miles per hour, and that will make it a Category 1 typhoon. Working through this weekend, especially through today, is Director of Communications for the Office of the Governor of Guam and now Joint Information Coordinator, Crystal Paco San Augustine, with a lot of news and breaking news coming from the Office of the Governor. Good evening, Crystal. How are you? And I'm so sorry for everything you guys are going through right now.
No worries. Happy day, Troy. Happy day, Kandit News, and happy day, Guam. And I just want to say massive kudos to the hardworking meteorologists at the National Weather Service.
Absolutely.
I'm really enjoying how social media savvy Landon and his team are embracing social media. I know they have 1,000 viewers for their afternoon Facebook Live, and they're very effective messengers. And I'm really enjoying their content, and it's making it very easy to complement their messaging out of the Joint Information Center, which for people at home that don't know what the Joint Information Center, our goal is to make it a centralized place for all the information coming out of our GovGuam agencies and also our partners. And you don't have to sift through the press releases. You don't have to. We want to direct you to the JIC, the Joint Information Center, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. So when you want verified official information, please turn to the Joint Information Center. In addition to myself running the team, it's also Jenna Bloss. This is not her first rodeo. She's a very, very she's an expert at running the show around there. And then, of course, our team of PIOs, Public Information Officers. We're all gathering to basically push information out of this one centralized source. You can get the latest information off ghs.guam.gov. We're also going to be sharing all of the information off governors' pages. And, of course, National Weather Service, thanks again to our friends there. But, before we begin, I know, Troy, you want to talk about storm prep, but I really wanted to give you the first, since this could maybe sign in the last hour, within the last hour or so.
Thank you.
Governor Leon Guerrero. Of course, Governor Leon Guerrero signed Executive Order number 2023-02, and it's relative to declaring a state of emergency in anticipation of the approach of Tropical Storm Mawar. And, basically what this does is in anticipation of the storm's landfall, we got to prepare we got to mobilize everything we can. So I can read some of this for you. Governor placed Guam in core condition of readiness 3, and then a condition of readiness 2 just this evening. So based on forecasts and modeling, we're tracking again to be an imminent, credible, and significant threat to the health, safety, and welfare of Guam. So in anticipation of its closest approach, we want to take all the precautionary and proactive steps to secure the safety of the island and to reduce the potential destruction of property and loss of life. So basically it says, whereas an emergency situation exists such that in order to safeguard the community, critical infrastructure, and the general welfare of the island against the impending dangerous onset of destructive winds and rains, it is critical that timely precautions be taken and resources be immediately identified, mobilized, and deployed. Basically, it does a few things. It declares a state of emergency, emergency procurement. It also mobilizes the emergency procurement and emergency expenses. It also designates GHS, that's Guam Homeland Security Office of Civil Defense, to be the lead agency for the purpose of emergency procurement, and then it authorizes the overtime.
Okay, so Can we clarify a few things? So just to put this into proper context for our viewers, one of the things that the governor has done really has organized emergency operations into the Emergency Operations Center. Certain things are triggered. She is the governor. She's fully in charge of this matter. We need to be supportive of her as our field marshal during this entire thing, right? You become the head of information, as you were just talking about, the Joint Information Center. There is an Emergency Operations Center with a manager. There is a Joint Information Center, and then there are things that are mobilized into the villages, especially working with the mayors and DPW and the police, right? Okay, can you explain some of that stuff that might be happening or that is happening right now?
Your summary was actually very much perfect. Troy, you're no stranger to the Joint Information Center, having been the JIC coordinator in the past, and warning or watch or real time, typhoon, tropical storm. We're taking these steps in order to mobilize all the resources, all the people, all the agencies, in order to prepare. And, we know that preparedness, the more prepared we are, the more resilient we are afterwards. And so just as you said, in anticipation of the storm's landfall, we are activating our emergency operations center that happens at the Homeland Security, the bunker in Agana Heights. And so there's basically a representative from every agency, critical infrastructure agency at least, GPA, GWA, DOE, Public Health, GMH, National Guard, GFD, GPD, all the acronyms of the Guam agency. So they're all present there. They all have a representative there. And basically also the Mayor's Council, strong partners, of course. They know their communities the best. So they've been briefed right along with us all day today. We've been in contact with them, and we've activated each of those representatives. So they're all mobilized now. They're all active at the Emergency Operations Center, which is located at Homeland Security in Agana Heights. I could tell you also earlier this afternoon, or this early evening, Governor Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, they both met with our critical infrastructure agencies. So I can tell you was at the table, the Guam Port Authority, the Guam International Airport Authority, DOE, since they operate our emergency shelters. We also had Homeland Security there. Sitting closest to me was DPW, Public Works, who are basically saying their primary focus is to keep the roads open, and especially those roads that lead to our hospitals. So that is first and foremost. So Hagatnya and Timoni, they're going to be focusing on keeping those roads open. Also at the table was
Can I stop you? Can I stop you for a second? Just something that's a little funny. I hope people will appreciate the interruption. I lived in Tamuning when growing up during all those typhoons that we had back in the day. And I have to tell you, I very much appreciated being a Tamuning resident because our power and water would go on first.
Right, because you're next to a critical infrastructure.
Because we were on the way to the hospital, and we were like, thank goodness the hospital's right there. But I'm not going to get into that discussion, Krista. I'm not going to get into
all the critical infrastructure agency heads. They're basically communicating to the governor and the lieutenant governor that they've been putting these storm prep into action since Friday of last week. So
thank you.
National Weather Service has been tracking the system for a week now. And so our teams have been mobilized and doing their storm prep.
Good
Rory
job.
was at the table basically saying, we're working to ensure everything stays online, that there's no disruption. Same with GPA and GWA. We have Miguel Bordalio at the table, John Benaventi at the table, making sure that our power stays on around the clock. Kudos to our teams that are going to be out there even through condition of readiness 1. That's how dedicated they are.
I have questions.
The water stays on.
I have questions about power, water, and the port. Let's start with with water, right? A big part of the wastewater system is making sure drains around neighborhoods are cleared, and so I think you guys are asking for the public's help in going out and making sure that debris, leaves, and all that stuff are raked up away.
Yes, absolutely.
Away from those drainage areas, right?
For residents and their private on their private property, we're asking them to make sure that you put away your loose debris, your canopies, your tarps, the things that can basically fly. The Department of Public Works, Vince, per his report this afternoon, this early evening, they've been cleaning. They've been mitigating all the flood-prone areas. They already have the equipment staged at those areas that are flood-prone.
Okay.
And they'll continue to assess. So all the heavy equipment that needs to be mobilized is ready. I understand that they're ready to clear the roads. The guys are on standby. The busing is also being prepped, where the bus drivers are ready to start mobilizing when it comes time to transport residents who are in need of shelter to the shelters.
And you guys will put out information about where people can go so that the buses can pick them up and into what shelters and all that stuff, right?
That's some of the first messaging we expect on Monday morning.
Okay.
So again, time is on our hands. We have Monday to prepare, and so I urge the people of Guam, of course, on behalf of Governor and Lieutenant Governor, that use Monday wisely to prepare. Don't be fooled by the perfect weather we had today. You want to prepare while the weather is still good. And so please clear your homes, prepare yourselves, your families. That might look a little different for some people. Myself, the first thing I did was gas my car. do a load of laundry, get more water for the house, charge all my devices and all the things that charge my devices.
Yes.
I think that's so critical in the event that power goes down. So I know that it's been a while since we've had a real storm, right? So I think this is really good to make sure that we're all prepared. Use Monday wisely, since we are anticipating closest point of approach being sometime Tuesday. So please do what you can to prepare yourselves in your homes. And yes, that goes back to clearing the debris around your home. Do the personal preparedness you can. I can guarantee you that the government is doing their preparedness on their end. Again, Governor already activating, mobilizing all our critical infrastructure agencies to make the preparedness measures now, because the more prepared we are, the more resilient we are.
I have a request from Clara Cantinita Mendiola. She says, please check Mariana's Terrace Gigo drainage area. It always backs up during the storm. I can WhatsApp that to you if you'd like afterward.
Yeah, message me that. WhatsApp that to me, Troy, and I'll get the teams on it. You know, a few sites did come up during the mayor's briefing this morning. You know, some mayors experience more flooding than others, right? So, like was it on south, if you live near the mountainside, there's always flooding there, and near the bridges. So DPW is tracking that. Certain culverts get really drained up and clogged up, and so DPW is tracking that as well. But if there's anything you need specifically, just reach out to me, and I can make sure that our teams are out there addressing, doing what we can before it becomes a problem.
When are the crews, the DPW and the GPA crews out there now clipping lines or clipping tree branches above power lines?
Absolutely. That's what I'm tracking right now. They're out there doing the mitigation measures to prevent power outages and all those isolated incidents, right? So, according to John Beneventu this evening, it's like the more we can stay online, the less work there is when it comes time to recovery. So that's an absolute priority. And the mayors as well. I know that they're going around their villages, preparing their residents, setting those warnings and working with those residents who may need to seek shelter.
Is there information yet about what number of people or where people can get a hold of whomever at Guam Power Authority regarding reporting down lines, reporting power outages, getting an update on when the power might be going on, et cetera, et cetera?
Not just yet. You'll probably get that. We will issue that information tomorrow. Again, condition of readiness 2 was just declared. This is a little bit different this time around. We modified things a bit in order to keep our community prepared. So usually Core 2 triggers this opening of school emergency shelters.
Okay.
We're not doing that just yet.
Okay,
we'll do
understood.
that tomorrow. But it's giving we want to make sure our community is absolutely prepared. And so that's, tonight at 8 p.m., we went into Core 2. We're telling the public, please use Monday wisely, get ready. Also, as you saw in our release, our military partners have also transitioned to TCC, Tropical Cyclone Core 2, in concurrence with the governor.
I know. I didn't want to put that stuff out because with all the different designations, it gets a little confusing for the public. That's why I didn't want to put that out.
Absolutely. And for a little bit, oh my gosh, Troy, I got to tell you, all day yesterday I was calling it P Core.
I love it.
I'm actually
you know what?
traumatized.
That's your PTSD. That's your PTSD from the pandemic.
I'm carrying from the last emergency we were mobilized for, and over 1,000 JIC releases.
Oh my goodness!
So,
yeah.
For the public, let's keep it simple. I think our friend Chris Barnett kind of taught me when I was a kid about the core system. And may I sing it since, he's a senator now, so it's okay. Typhoon, typhoon, outside my door. How I wish it was condition 4. And so that's kind of what educated me as a child in
I love
it. About the condition of readiness, right? 4 is all clear. 3 is, prepare. 2 is 48 hours out. And 1 is 12 hours out, or it's happening.
It's
now.
happening,
so
yeah.
I think it gets a little confusing. I can send you a cheat sheet. Maybe you can also help with educating our public. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Yes, we would love that. Thank you so much. Can you?
Yes, it's a fact sheet on tropical cyclones. I'm sending it to you now, Troy.
I love it. We'll get information out.
All benefit from a cheat sheet. It's been a while. It's absolutely been a while since we've had something like this. So it basically explains damaging winds, destructive winds, typhoon watch, typhoon warning, What is the CPA, Troy? Do you remember?
Closest point of approach. I have PTSD from my years in the Caldwell administration.
Closest point of approach. So knowing the difference between a super typhoon, and a tropical storm and a tropical depression. So I know you had a very lengthy conversation with Landon Idlet, but I think people are more fascinated by the colors and the graphs. But I think knowing these different words can really help you navigate our chick releases as well.
Thank you. So we'll get that information out. And we've been getting out the information that you at the governor's office on Guam and Richard Balearis and the governor's office and the CNMI have been putting out. And thank you guys so much because if we're putting out the information, it means you guys are the ones gathering it all and putting it together. So thank you.
Absolutely. And I was trying to go into the comments and answer some of the questions. I did answer a question about airlines. I did see there was somebody asking about flights. Will flights be impacted tomorrow? No, they will not be impacted tomorrow. I got this from our executive director at the Guam International Airport Authority. They are tracking Tropical Storm Mawar closely. Because it's tracking for closest point of approach, we learned that in CPA. As early as Tuesday, everything's still on schedule for Monday. So if you're coming in, you're flying into Guam, and maybe you're expecting a loved one coming in tomorrow, or you're trying to fly out tomorrow, that's Monday, you're still good. But maybe later tomorrow night, we'll have more information on how flights are impacted or possibly grounded for Tuesday. So again, we are working around the clock already to make sure that, we're not caught off guard. We know that the people of Guam are out of practice, but we know that we're a very resilient community. As long as we keep informed, we share verified information, and we do those personal preparedness actions to ensure that we as an individual can be resilient. And I can assure you that everything is happening on the Leon Guerrero Tenor administration side to ensure we're resilient as well.
Can we get an update from you, please, Crystal, regarding both public and private schools, UOG and GCC?
Let me pull up that JIC release too. So school updates. Well, first off, congratulations to the Guam Community College and, UOG, who, got their graduations done before the storm's landfall. So good for them.
Good for them.
So, moving on to the Guam Department of Education, their central office, school just ended. Last day of school was just last Friday. So Biba to that.
Okay.
No missed classes for them, but there are no GDOs there. I think there was one school that was supposed to go to class tomorrow. GDO schools that there will be no school.
Okay, no school tomorrow.
Because remember, we're preparing the schools for shelters.
Okay, got it.
You know what that means, moms and dads. You know what that means. When we're opening the shelters, the schools have to shut down. So let me read verbatim from the Joint Information Center. There are no GDOE classes on Monday, May 22. GDOE schools that have been identified as emergency shelters will be operational for shelter by 5 p.m. Monday. And so, like I said, Troy, we're going to go ahead and issue the listing of schools early tomorrow, so that that those in need of shelter can get there. Also, the Guam Department of Education board meeting scheduled for Tuesday has been rescheduled. As for DODEA, they're a little bit different, as we know. So DODEA will be in session tomorrow. So if your son or daughter attended DODEA school, yes, you have schools tomorrow. You have classes tomorrow.
Okay.
Archdiocese of Agana, our Catholic schools, the classes have been canceled tomorrow.
Okay.
And they will remain closed until Core 4, that's Condition of Readiness 4, is announced.
Crystal, how about the Catholic schools that are not part of the Archdiocese school system? So Notre Dame High School and Mount Carmel, I think, are the ones that are different.
Gosh. I haven't received an update from them just yet.
Okay.
I would refer parents to call their school and maybe check their school's social media or call someone from the school for that information.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I only have for GDOE, DODEA, for Archdiocese Agana schools, and UOG and GCC.
No charter school?
DODEA, no one has school tomorrow.
How about charter?
DODEA, you have school tomorrow.
How about charter schools?
Charter schools, I don't have information on that. That's a great follow-up for myself. I'll give you that information first thing in the morning.
Okay. Can you give us, you touched a bit on shelters. Can you talk to us about the shelter information you have as of now?
Shelter information will be provided tomorrow. That's Monday. Governor did meet with our acting superintendent for the Department of Education this afternoon. She was part of our critical infrastructure meeting.
Okay.
They're preparing to open emergency shelters at 5 p.m. on Monday.
Okay.
Again, we urge residents to please wait until the shelters are open.
Okay.
Our staff need this time to prepare the shelters. Emergency shelters will not be open until tomorrow. Please do not attempt to go to any emergency shelter until the designated opening time. And as I just said, shelter opening time will be 5 p.m. So we are preparing to have the Department of Public Works busing to provide shuttle services for those who may need it.
Okay.
I know that the mayors were very adamant. I know that Committee Mayor Elise, she really wanted emergency shelters within her village. And so we're working to ensure that happens.
Okay.
That full listing will be available tomorrow. Again, please use tomorrow to prepare. I gassed my car today. It was so crazy busy at the gas station.
I'll bet.
I was scared to go to a store. I was scared to go.
We know that
preparedness measures.
We know that there are very hardworking, a bunch of hardworking people in Gov Guam who will be working during Core 2, during the storm, after the storm, but also because Core 2 was declared, it triggered the closure of the so-called non-essential government operations, correct? So your typical Gov Guam agencies, customers are not going to be able to go in and do
tomorrow,
business.
If you're trying to go get your license renewed, that will not happen tomorrow.
So
the Department of Revenue and Taxation, not something critical, but we're talking. So let's back up a little bit. I know that we all need a refresher. Condition of Readiness 2 triggers the closure of the Government of Guam operations. The only exceptions are those identified as essential. And when I say essential, I'm talking about the Guam Memorial Hospital. I'm talking about the Department of Public Works, those bus drivers, and any of the workers that keep the roads clear. I'm talking about the Guam Police Department, who are likely going to be on the streets should traffic lights go out. The Guam Fire Department,
the Seaport,
Guam National Guard, who are likely to be mobilized very soon to assist. So when we say Government of Guam operations are closed at Core 2, everyone but those critical, those essential people. So please do not try to renew your license tomorrow. Government of Guam operations are closed.
The legislature and the local judiciary also are closed. People are asking about banks. Will banks be closed during Core 2?
Oh, banks.
I believe the banks and the post office are Core 1 triggered, if I'm not mistaken. I'm rusty at this.
I believe that too, but I would check on their social media, their respective social medias for whatever services you're looking for.
Yeah.
I assume I'm guessing that as information, as people get prepared, we'll get more information, and they'll be relaying that to us. Troy, I gladly take any information and that your viewers have or questions that they have, and I'll work my best to get that information for you.
My trash pickup day is Tuesday. Is my trash going to get picked up or what?
These are all great questions. Okay, GSWA update. The Guam Solid Waste Authority will continue operations with trash pickup tomorrow, May 22nd. Assessments will be made after tomorrow, and an update on GSWA operations for the remainder of the week will be provided. So essentially, if your trash pickup is on Tuesday, Troy, just stay tuned at this point. We do not know if you should be putting your trash out on Tuesday morning, because then it could be a loose debris.
Well, speaking of that, because those trash cans, look how old I am, I call them trash cans. Those trash containers can definitely be picked up by winds of 25, 30 miles per hour. So,
absolutely.
So we're talking about a much bigger system coming through this area, possibly. And what are we supposed to do? I'm not taking those trash cans into my house. What do I do with that?
Well, if you have a back kitchen or someplace secure, tie it down if you can.
It's a tie it down situation, right? It's not, because it'll fly in a back kitchen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you don't have a back kitchen, my home fortunately has a back kitchen.
No, but even if it's in the if the back kitchen is open to the elements, it's still gonna fly. It's still gonna, yeah, it's gonna be
The
airborne.
back kitchen is where we keep our stove. I mean, our outside.
Oh, you better
remember?
batten that stuff down. That stuff will fly everywhere.
Right.
You're younger than me. You're younger than, so you might not remember.
I'm just a little bit younger
Yeah.
than you. I have experienced a typhoon. I think this is really an interesting time to have a disturbance of this magnitude in the area because there's a whole generation who's not experienced typhoons. I was actually talking to someone today, and she was saying that her kids have never experienced a typhoon, and they're a little bit concerned because they're looking at all their tech toys and their gadgets, and they're like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Kids have no idea. They have no clue what's coming.
Kids have no idea how to entertain themselves in a typhoon when the power is out.
If I were a parent, I would get earplugs right before this typhoon comes.
All right.
Hey,
I mean, Netflix, who knows how long Netflix will be on. This is the time to bring out the good old-fashioned deck of cards, the board games, the books, the real.
These kids are going to shoot us the evil eye if we bring out stuff like that. They'd be like, what is
and it's
that?
also a great time to catch up on your sleep. I know that one of my favorite things about the typhoons is the kudu weather. Eat that kudu.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That does sound really good. I'm going to make some
struggling right now because I'm on a keto diet, but I know that I really love the storm food that comes with it. Oh, my God, it's spam and corn and rice. I don't know. I'm a sucker for that.
I'm going to make chilaquiles tomorrow. Jole, you want some chilaquiles tomorrow? Zach wants chilaquiles. Hey,
I think there should be a poll that you do is what's your favorite storm food?
That's a great freaking idea, Crystal. Thank you for that. One last thing before I let you go, and thank you so much for spending all of this time with us. We're at 28 minutes into this conversation, and
it's more with you tomorrow to get more information.
What can pregnant women do?
Dang, let me pull that up again because I made an error in one of the check releases, and I put 36 months pregnant. What kind of pregnancy is that? That's a very, very long pregnancy. So let me go ahead and...
36 months? I just got that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I promised Jesus 2 years ago I would stop telling fat jokes because when he said that I just had a few of them ready to go. But
let me pull up. That was in Chick 4.
Yes, I believe I saw it in Chick 4. Something about Guam Memorial Hospital and GRMC. Or Guam Memorial Hospital.
This was our health update. Chick 4, Guam Memorial Hospital Authority. Expectant mothers are asked to please check with their healthcare provider for guidance if they are unsure if they are a high-risk pregnancy. Once GMHA has announced it is accepting pregnant mothers, please check with the patient registration department. So 38 weeks, at least 38 weeks pregnant, and all high-risk pregnant mothers who are 6 months or more in their pregnancy. So, yes, expecting dads, please, contact your healthcare provider, your physician, to get more information. But if you're about 36, 38 weeks pregnant and a high-risk mother, or you're 6 months or more in their pregnancy, then it's time to call your doctor to make some plans.
And at some point, you guys are going to advise them to actually go check in because of it has something to do with the pressure, right? The pressure that the typhoon brings.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. I mean, okay. I'm not a mom or an expecting mom, but I know that must be a very stressful experience. And so, again, connect with your doctor, make a plan, and once we have the information that the Guam Memorial Hospital is accepting expectant mothers, then you can make that transition into a hospital bed.
Crystal, I want to thank you so much for this time that you're spending with us, considering how much work you've been doing today and how much work... I know you're not going home yet, you poor thing. You go back to work, and we love you, and thank you so much for your service, you and the whole team over there.
That poll, Troy. Tell me what your favorite typhoon food is. But Jesus Mossy, and again, to your viewers, thank you for staying updated. I can't thank you enough for using those verified sources, for getting up-to-date information, for making your personal preparedness plan so we as an island can be resilient together. Again, it's been quite some time since we've experienced a typhoon, and while we're really hoping for the best, we must plan for the worst. So be prepared, Guam.
Buenas and peace be with you and Governor Lulian Guerrero. Good night, Crystal. Thank you. We'll check with you in the morning. Okay.
Adios.
Esta. So that was Crystal Paco San Augustine, Director of Communications for the Office of the Governor of Guam. Hopefully tomorrow morning we're going to be able to chat with Homeland Security and Emergency Management Special Assistant Franklin Babalta over in the CNMI, as well as Joint Information Coordinator for the Office of the Governor and Director of Communications for Governor Arnold Palacios, Richard Balearis. For now, we have information coming out from CNMI Commissioner of Education, Dr. Alfred Atta. All PSS classes on Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda, including Head Start, Early Head Start, and Early Intervention programs are canceled tomorrow, May 22, and Tuesday, May 23, until further notice. All PSS school and central office employees except 190-day contracted employees must still report to work tomorrow, Monday, May 22, until further notice. As Typhoon Watch remains in effect for the CNMI and in preparation for Tropical Storm Mawar, the following changes are made to the school year 2022-2023 promotion and graduation schedule. On Thursday, May 25, 2023, at 9 a.m. will be the promotion for Dandan Middle School. And at 4 p.m., the graduation for Daok Academy. On Friday, May 26, 2023, there will be the promotion ceremony at 9 a.m. for Hopwood Middle School. And a graduation at 4 p.m. at Saipan Southern High School. On Saturday, May 27, 2023, a 4 p.m. graduation for Tinian Senior High School. And Tuesday, May 30, at 9 a.m., promotion ceremony for Tanapag Middle School. On Wednesday, May 31, 2023, at 9 a.m., the promotion ceremony for Dr. Rita H. Enos Senior High School in Rhoda. And a 4 p.m. graduation for Dr. Rita Enos. I'm sorry, the 9 a.m. promotion is for Dr. Rita Enos Junior High School, and a 4 p.m. graduation for Dr. Rita Enos Senior High School. On Friday, June 2nd, 2023, 9 a.m. promotion for Francisco Sablan Middle School, and 4 p.m. graduation for Marianas High School. On Saturday, May 27, 2023, a promotion at 9 a.m. for Chacha Ocean View Middle School, and 4 p.m. graduation for Cagman High School. And finally, on Tuesday, June 6, 2023, is the promotion ceremony at 9 a.m. for Tinian Junior High School. This is a long show with a lot of updates, huh? There was just a lot of stuff that came out this weekend, and we wanted to make sure that you all were prepared as we start the week. We will continue to put out these updates. I'll try to be awake as early as possible tomorrow morning to start receiving the updates from the official sources in both the CNMI and from Guam, and to get these updates for you. We personally here at Kandit want to thank Jenna Gamindi Blas and Joey Dela Cruz. Jenna Gamindi Blas is their Public Affairs Officer here on Guam. Joey Dela Cruz is the EOC Manager and Public Affairs Officer over in the CNMI and their EOC. Homeland Security and Emergency Management Special Assistant for the CNMI, Franklin Babalta, and Guam Homeland Security Advisor, Sam Brennan, Richard Balearis, Director of Communications for Governor Palacios, and Crystal Paco San Agustin, Director of Communications for Governor Lulian Guerrero, and of course Landon and Brandon Idlet, the twin brothers over at the National Weather Service, and their team, and everyone who is doing everything to prepare and keep us safe here in the Mariana Islands. You will be able to get your information first in Guam tomorrow morning, beginning at 6 a.m. From 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., there will be rolling coverage and updates about the storm from Ray Gibson on the Ray Gibson Show on Guam. You can catch him on the FM dial at 93.3 FM. You can also catch him on Facebook Live at The Point Guam, and you can catch him on YouTube on The Ray Gibson Show. He will likely have updates for both Guam and the CNMI. So, and also if you wanted to make it to keep it local in the CNMI, there is the NMI News Service by Brad Rizala, which you can find on Facebook. On behalf of all of us here at Kandit News Group, thank you so much for joining us and for tuning in and for trusting us with news. We very much appreciate your time and your presence. God bless you. Be safe, and we love you, Marianas. Peace be with you.